Thank you, Madam Chair, Excellencies, and distinguished attendees. It has definitely been a long day and a very educational one. We are here from the private sector. We are here thanks to the vision of the Secretary General, who saw that the private sector's energy and resources are very important and critical to succeeding in these goals. We are here thanks to the drive and initiative of the Special Representative, Margarita Wallström, and her staff, who put together an advisory team just about 6 months ago. And we are here today not just simply to make a statement, but to present to you a commitment that we are inviting the entire private sector throughout the world to consider and to be part of. We are acting as catalysts, and I'll introduce the subgroup of our Private Sector Advisory Committee that will touch on the important points of this statement. And if you don't have the statement with you now, please get it before you leave, or it will be available on the website. To my left here is Tricia Holly-Davis, Director of Commercial Sustainability of Willis Group, John Tobin, Managing Director of Public Policy and Sustainable Affairs for Credit Suisse, Peter Ruder, who is a Distinguished Fellow of Cisco Internet Business Solutions Group, Thomas Loester, finally, Chairman of Munich Re Foundation, and I'm Aris Papadopoulos, CEO of Titan America, a building heavy construction materials group. So we will touch on some of the highlights, and our goal is to get 1,000 signatories to this statement within 12 months. And we hope we'll achieve it way before 12 months. And we need your help and the help of the media in that.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Chair, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, major disasters triggered by natural hazards impact the lives and livelihoods of millions of people around the world, both in developed and developing countries. Across the globe, economic and insured losses from these events are rapidly rising. A combination of rapid simultaneous global economic and population growth, limitations in public and private sector disaster risk prevention, management, and planning, globalization, growing concentration of assets and people in urban centers and high exposure areas are all contributing to the rapid rise in disaster-related losses. The 10-year average of economic losses in 2000 since 2000 totaled 110 billion. Insured losses in that time totaled 35 billion. In 2010, disasters cost the global economy 130 billion. This year, they are already double that amount. The impacts of disasters are not limited to rich or to poor, to east or to west, to public or to private. They impact all of us. While the primary responsibility for protecting communities vested in national and local governments lies with the public sector, the private sector plays a crucial role in managing disaster risks and building resilience. Thank you.
The private sector shares both the consequences of these risks that we have alluded to already, as well as a responsibility to act in reducing them. In most countries, the private sector is the primary generator of GDP, employs the majority of the population, and is the dominant vehicle for innovation and investment. It also has the know-how, organization, resources, and capacity to provide solutions. Ensuring a safer and more sustainable future requires coordinated action by multiple actors worldwide through partnerships at multiple levels. In politics, in technology, in the economy, civic and community groups, and the public that combine resources as well as expertise. The economic case for ex-ante disaster risk reduction and management is compelling. And while I will not go into the details of each of the various examples we could give of the business case, we do believe, as the private sector, that it is indeed compelling. Suffice it to say that there is very strong evidence to suggest that for every dollar invested in resilience and prevention, between $4 and $7 are saved in response costs. And there are other such sort of studies and bits of evidence that point very decidedly towards DRR being the right way to approach these problems.
You'll notice on the third page of this commitment statement, it starts with has the word movement. We feel from the private sector side that to succeed, this must become a movement of parallel energy and effort similar to the successfully led UN climate change movement. Sustainability cannot be achieved unless we reduce both our environmental impact and become more resilient against catastrophes. The UN has taken the lead through the ISDR and the Kyoto framework and created the blueprint for us. We are ready to join that effort. And we're not just seeking bandages and solutions of the symptoms. We need to understand the root causes and develop the real solutions that will prevent these types of disasters from happening in the future. And the returns for all will be substantial.
Ladies and gentlemen, the private sector does acknowledge the risk posed and the threat posed by disaster. And we commit to create awareness within and outside our organizations, identify vulnerability and their root causes. We commit to make a disaster risk reduction and resilience building an integral part of our sustainable development strategy. We recognize the leading role of the ISDR and the importance of the Hyogo Framework for Action as a guidance reference for global disaster risk reduction. And we commit to partner with the private sector, the civil society, and the people, taking into account the most vulnerable population groups such as women, children, elderly, and the poor, to enact the following 5 essentials for business.
And here is the UN ISDR Private Sector Advisory Group call for action. We have found 5 essentials for business in disaster risk reduction. Number 1, promote and develop public-private partnerships for disaster risk reduction to analyze the root causes of continued non-resilient activity, such as in the urban built environment and related infrastructure. Develop frameworks and policies to change these causes. Number 2, leverage sectoral private sector expertise and strengths. We found that there's a lot of knowledge in the private sector, and we highlight the knowledge in the engineering and construction industry, the communications and telecom sector, the insurance industry, utilities and transport industries, and there are much more. There's a lot of knowledge, and we should all use it in order to reduce risk and to better manage it. Number 3, foster a collaborative exchange and dissemination of data. Share information on assessment, monitoring, prediction, forecasting, and early warning purposes and action between the public and private sectors. Also, encourage staff, suppliers, individuals, people, clients, families, and communities to take action to reduce risk. This is very important to work in the house and outside. Number 4, support national and local risk assessments and socio-economic cost-benefit analysis and capacity building. It is very important to do this and to learn that investment can also pay out. Number 5, support the development and strengthening of national and local laws, regulation, policies, and programs that enhance disaster risk reduction and improve resilience. Develop, apply, and implement internal codes of conduct standards and procedures in order to optimize disaster risk reduction.
Thank you very much. We look forward to working with you.